Let's have a happier conversation. Making a loved one proud is something we all want to do. Divers Tom Daley and Mattie Lee certainly did that yesterday, winning gold medals in the synchronised diving at the Tokyo Olympics. Later, Tom said about someone he couldn't share his success with, his late dad, Robert. Tom said his dad was his biggest cheerleader and that when he passed away, it was extremely difficult because he would never get to see him win an Olympic medal. Oh, look how young he looks there. I mean, that just...
So young. He's still so young, isn't he?
Well, he is. He's only 20. He's only 27, but an incredibly mature young man.
Yeah, and it must have been... I mean, incredible. So proud of him. Well done. But it must have been bittersweet for him because his dad was there from the beginning, and to miss that moment. But, you know, I'm sure if there is such a thing, his dad will have been there with him anyway. And it is that strange feeling, isn't it, when you lose someone and then something great happens to you and you think, I never got to tell them. For me, obviously, I didn't win an Olympic medal. You may be shocked by that, OK, but I didn't win.
You were close in the rhythm gymnastics.
I was close.
You were robbed.
He's just got in the way. But no, with mine, it was like when my dad was ill, it was just at the start of when my first marriage was going a bit wrong, and I knew he was concerned for me, and my mum was as well. And then I lost them both before we knew what the outcome was going to be. And the outcome was great, and I was fine, and I carried on my own and got successful and all of those things. And there is moments, even now sometimes, even when I sit in my new house, I think, oh, my mum and dad would have loved to have seen this, or they would have loved to have just known as a parent that I was OK. Because I know, you know, with my dad, he was worried about it. And I think about that a lot, about how much they would have liked it. And I would have loved them to have seen how well I'd done. You do always want your parents to applaud you and go, you know, well done, and I'd have loved that. So I get where he's coming from with all of that.
Well, Brenda, for you...
I'm the same. I mean, losing my parents at 4, you know, there's so many things that I wish, you know, that they'd seen me get my Outstanding Pupil of the Year award in my 5th year, or, you know, just see me give birth to my 2 children, or come with me to the Palace and see Jamal get his MBE. You know, there's so many different things that I'm constantly saying, oh, I wish you were here, I wish you were here, but they're here, they're watching. Yeah.
What do you mind me asking, what do you remember of them, Brenda?
I remember 2 things, music and a smell of... They used to get, like, a Chinese takeaway every couple of weeks, and there was this certain curry sauce smell, and I remember that, and I've searched it out, and I've got both things in my life predominantly. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
It's so interesting, like a 4-year-old brain, what it retains. And
I wish I had more memories,
of course.
But, yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah. Do you think about these things, Janet?
Not really, no.
Nah.
I mean, my parents, when my parents died, I mean, I'd had quite a level of success by then, but my mother was always telling me that, you know, she could have done it better and blah, blah, blah. I remember the first time I was on television hosting a talk show, she turned up at the drinks afterwards and said to Russell Harty, who I was doing it with, well, I don't know why you think she's any good, and by the way, I cook a very good Sunday lunch, why don't you come round?
Oh, wow.
And my mother was, like, so competitive. I didn't have that kind of relationship with my parents. I think they were proud of me, but we didn't share any intimate details of my life, and certainly they didn't tell me very much about theirs. So we were quite distant.
But isn't there an element that you'd like them to see how well you'd done despite all of that?
No, I'm not living my life to, you know, to validate... You know.
But kind of despite all of that, to go, you know what, I did well even though I didn't have that support, really.
No, I think I'm living my life because I've done it, I've achieved it, I've flogged my guts out and I've got there. And when I went to get my CBE at Buckingham Palace, I took 3 of my girlfriends, the 3, you know, obviously I've got quite a close circle of friends, and I took 3 girlfriends, so I could have a great day with them, because also I kind of feel that a lot of what I do is saying to other women, you can do it too. I'm not doing it for my mum, dad, or my moaning sister. I did it for me.
Would you have taken your mum and dad had they been alive?
No, definitely not. I would not have taken my mum and dad, because in my life, from the minute I left home at 18, my friends were my family. They were my rock. And every time something went wrong in my life, in a relationship or whatever, what did I get from the family? I was an embarrassment. My mother, hypocrite, said she wouldn't have done, you know...
Would they have wanted to go?
probably take a swank to the neighbours.
Yeah.
But I mean, I suppose that's the difference. You go back to Tom.
I know I'm coming across as a miserable old
no, absolutely
Charlie
not.
bitch, but I'm saying to people, a lot of people think, all right, Mum and Dad, you brought me up, thank you very much. But from the minute I left home, my friends are absolutely my
No, and I
family.
don't think you are, Janet, because
No,
it
I
depends
don't.
on the nature of the relationship. And I mean, if you go back to Tom Daley, I mean, his
Yeah,
dad was
his
there
dad was
every
his
single step
trainer.
of the way.
Yeah.
Oh,
you know,
yes.
And it's totally
I think it's
understandable.
wonderful to see, and I don't denigrate it in any way. I think it's heartwarming and it's fabulous. Plus, all these athletes that have worked in, you know, like the mountain biker that broke his collarbone and then won a medal. I just can't believe that.
Absolutely, in such a kind of difficult circumstance in Tokyo at the moment.